sure what's going on here. Okay. Looks like we're on. Yep. Move these around. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to Periwinkle Palace Arts. I'm Princess Bun Bun, and we do art here. So come on, join in. We can chat, and we're gonna do art. We're still working on the same thing today that we worked on yesterday. Yesterday was frustrating. I went off the morning session because I realized that things were going awry with the art. It definitely did not go how I expected it to. And I knew it was going to take me a long time to blend out this black and get it smooth and try to de-shinify it, which didn't really work out. I'll explain that in a minute. The thing is I went outside. I like to go outside with my dogs and sit there while they run around the yard, and there's a lot of sunshine right there no matter what time of day it is, so I get my sunshine for vitamin D, and I sit there and I do a little meditation on my phone. I saw this bee come up my stairs towards me, and I was just like, I'm just gonna sit here and do my meditation and leave him alone, and he'll leave me alone, right? I don't kill bees. We need bees in the world. They're important. And so I left it alone and started my meditation. And 3 minutes and 20 seconds into my meditation, I felt a sharp sting right on my side of my stomach. And I opened my eyes just in time to watch that bee fly away from me. So I got stung by a bee yesterday. It's fine because I'm not like allergic to them or anything. But between that and my frustration with blending, I decided not to get back on live yesterday afternoon. Like I said, this took me about 2 hours to get it blended out. Let me see if I can get it closer to the camera. If you can see that, it's pretty shiny, and that is not what I wanted it to be. I can, if I want to, take some mineral spirits to it, and that will mattify it, but I really don't feel like doing that, and it looks okay. It doesn't look the way I wanted it to look. But sometimes in art, that happens. We're experimenting with new materials, and I had thought about cutting a little edge off of the page before I started, and using that to kind of test these new materials, but I didn't want to. There's a lot of things that I do because I don't want to do something else, and there's a lot of things that I don't do because I don't want to. Let me pop out the chat here. Not that anybody's gonna be here, but just in case. Just in case. My voice feels kind of scratchy this morning. I think it's just because I haven't had enough coffee yet. And I think I'm kind of getting a little routine going here for the streaming. It looks like I get out here around 8 a.m. and get started. It's a little late this morning because we had company. Yeah. So if I run like that from about 8 to around lunchtime, which for me is around 11, then that can be like the morning art session. And then if I feel up to it and don't crash out, we can do a second one in the afternoon. As always, if you want to see what I'm listening to as far as my music, it's right there on my screen. Just a little screen share from my Spotify mini player. I would much rather have music in the background of the video or the stream, but I would have to do one of the Spotify channels that's like non-copyrighted music. And when I'm doing my art, I typically like to listen to things that are on my playlist, not someone else's. All right. So let me explain what I did yesterday when I went off camera. As you saw, yesterday I was using the black pencil, filling in the tooth. I wish that I had not done that. I should have just built up more color with the pan pastel. I thought that using the pencil would help to create a barrier around the edge because of the wax content, and it did, but it also made it very shiny around the edge, and that didn't match the rest of it. So I made the decision to go ahead and put a little bit of wax from the colored pencil all over, and that made it look really funny. So I used the brush and pencil colored pencil powder blender and put it all over everything after I colored it all with the black pencil. And that kind of blends really well. I don't know if it works too well with the pan pastel, but the colored pencil was on top of that. So it blended well. It kind of seems like if you let it sit there for a couple of seconds, it breaks down the pigment, the binder in the pigment, and it almost makes it a little bit liquid feeling. So I did that, and then it wasn't into the tooth of the paper. So I went back with it. I went back over it with this, which kind of sunk down in there. Let me pull that back out. I was pretty heavy-handed when I was pushing the pigment into the paper. I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, so I flattened everything down with this, and then I came back with this end, and if you go really lightly over it, it kind of makes it less shiny a little bit, but not a ton. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to deal with the fact that it's kind of shiny. It still looks good, at least on the camera. It just wasn't the effect that I was going for, but it's not like I can't do this again. I do feel like I probably won't try to do a background like this with black, because I mean, it's just been difficult. It's different when you're using a lighter color, because it doesn't cover things. It doesn't, like if I was using white, it would have been fine. but I wasn't. I was using black. So we get what we get when we don't throw a fit. My mother-in-law would love me for saying that. I stole that from her. I have a very wonderful mother-in-law. All right. What are we going to do today? Well, we're not going to mess with that black much anymore. We are going to mess with the edge of it around here. I'm going to try and blend the edging of the black out so it's softer. And we're going to attempt to put white around the phoenix and kind of blend those together. So if you can see, it's very black. Then there's like a gray edge, and then there's a white edge, and they're just not smooth transfers. I may not be able to get a good blend right here, but we're gonna try anyway. I'll go ahead and let you know. One of the next projects that I'll be working on is the same phoenix, but we're going to be doing that one in marker. So one of the next ones, I have several printed out that we're going to work on for marker, because I just got new markers, so I'm way excited. But I was doing the colored pencil ones. Well, I love colored pencil, but I was doing the colored pencil ones to pass the time while I was waiting for my markers. I saved up money for a long while, to be able to afford these markers, and I got them at 50% off on a sale. So I'm extremely happy about that. I'm not a person who has a ton of money to spend on art stuff, but I am a person who's pretty good at finding sales and specials. And yeah, so I still need to be careful because there's still some transfer from the black. Again, I could also take a fixative and spray it all over this, but I don't want to. That would mattify it and also keep it from transferring. But I'm trying to see how much transfer I get. This is, again, I'm testing this product. So I'm just gonna leave it unsprayed. Okay? All right, to get started, what do we need? The first thing we need is coffee. I already have that. Do you have your coffee? Or whatever your drink is? I love coffee. Cheers to the coffee gods and the art gods. Bunny ears. Today's Green Day. That's Thursdays. No, I'm not wearing a green shirt. I usually do. I try to wear all the same color. But my washing machine broke. So it's just a thing, right? Life. Got bunny ears. Oh, and you need to say hi to bunnies. Say hello this morning, Maya. Hey, everybody. Okay. Today, we also have two bunnies to introduce. This is Trixie. Trixie is the Trichotillomania bunny. And trichotillomania is when you kind of compulsively pull your hairs out. And I do this. So this is Trixie. And I'll show you a secret about Trixie that freaked me out when I first got her. I was pulling on her hair like this and just fluffing it, and You had the toupee. So, that's Trixie. Say hi, Trixie. And we also have Fauna. She is another one of the bunnies that represent fear reactions, fear responses. And of course, she's the fawn response. I love her. She has these cute little fawn horns, and she covers her mouth with these little magnetic paws. How cute is that? And she has this beautiful pattern to her fur. She's the only one that has a pattern like that. And she has these, they represent little eggshells. So because she walks on eggshells. And yeah. Hello, Fauna. And we'll put her over here with Trixie. I have bunnies that come to my desk every day. I'm a little bit obsessed with them. A little bit. When I get really stressed out, I'll take a bunny break and hold them. Oh, I got a little piece of something in her fuzz. Okay. All right. Let's start on this. I watched some of the news this morning, and it doesn't look like any bombs have flown around in the past day or so. So that's good. But I'm still catching up. If anybody knows of something that happened, let me know. Because I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna try not to put colored pencil on the paper again. I just want to blend this out. So let's start with this, okay? And I'm just gonna try and kind of buff the edge here of the black. Not a whole lot. But sometimes art has a mind of its own, and we may make a decision and want it to work out a particular way, and then it doesn't, and it can be frustrating. But the trick is just to come back to it and keep going. I used to try and correct things a lot. Instead, now I just kind of say to myself, well, that's where that went, and I'll work with it. So I'm not particularly happy that it's shiny, but I can work with it. It's fine. I didn't want to come back on the live stream yesterday and just sit here and blend for 2 hours. That's pretty boring. I like blending. I find it very meditative and mindful, but I didn't think that anyone else would just want to sit and watch me blend. So I just kind of did that off camera. That, and I got stung by the bee. Was not Yesterday was not the best day, but we got through it. See, I like that. That's okay. It's just kind of fuzzing it out a little bit. I'm pretty curious, like, has anybody else tried hand pastels? Have you experimented with them? What do you like? What do you not like? Has anybody found particular tools that they like to work with? And how do you has anyone tried to do pan pastels with colored pencils? And if so, what's your experience like with that? I'm very curious. It's getting pretty fuzzy. Yeah, we've really softened that up. I'm happy with how it's looking. Okay. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna try and put some white in here, on here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a brush to add white to this. And then we'll blend it with a blender. I think that I left the white on here. All right, pearl. That's pearl. Here's our white. Okay. And I'm just applying this white along the edge of the black. I'm not putting it close to the actual phoenix because I want it to stay really white there, but I'm not sure what will happen if I put this over any of the flames, and we will find out, but I'm not sure yet. So the brush doesn't really rub it in, so I'm just tapping it onto the paper from the brush. I'm just going over the area that I just blended out. That's just a small area, and let's blend that in. Okay. I'm not sure how I like this. I'm gonna stick my finger on this and blend it. Look. It's essentially accomplishing the task. Yeah. I'm good with that. And it looks like it should go fairly quickly, so let's do it. It really doesn't take a lot of the pan pastel. I like this. It's working the way I want it to, so we'll continue around.
This is a reminder. Take a notch down again. This is a reminder. Take a notch down again.
That is my Alexa reminding me to eat this. Oh, there's a fly flying around my head. If you hear snoring, it's my doggo. Okay. Okay. Now that I've got that basic thing going, I'm just gonna smudgy it. I like that. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take my colored pencils back through and just kind of fix any spots that kind of got rubbed out. And just very light hand should do it. I'm gonna grab the crimson light to do it. It's really not that bad off. Mostly in the tail is where I'm seeing some issues. Okay. I like that. Okay, I know this wasn't a very long live stream, um, but I call this finished. I think I'm done with that. And for all the struggle that I had with it, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. Um, it's not exactly how I wanted it or how I envisioned it coming out, but it looks very glowy and that it does pop a lot. So I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. And I'll probably come back um, with a new project. But whenever I finish a project, I tend to clean up my area on my desk so that I can jump into another one. Right before I go, I want to tell you about this. I got this little brush from Kit and Clouder, where I take classes, art classes. And she specially made it. She had them made especially for removing pigment bits from the paper so they don't get pressed in. So that you don't have to blow across your art and maybe spit on it. That has happened to me so many times. You know what I mean. When you go and spit flies out of your mouth and now you've got wet drops on your paper. But yeah, I feel like using a brush like this is a lot of help because I can't even imagine if I was using my fingers, rubbing it or something or blowing across it, how much of that black pigment would have gotten in the center more than did without me even trying. But yeah, I call this done. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. If you have any comments, anything you want to say, comment section. Again, this is Periwinkle Palace Arts. I'm Princess Bun Bun, and I'll see you really soon.